So let's sit for a few moments in silence, and maybe with your eyes closed. And as you're sitting, unless you're very evolved, you will will notice some thoughts arising. So let's just explore. Just notice. Let's just begin by noticing the thoughts that arise. Just note them, that there they are. Now, if your thought stream, the little thought stream is coherent at all, or has some cogency to it, then look a little more specifically at it into each individual part of the thought. And now question, as a thought arises, where was it just before it showed up? It wasn't there, right? And then suddenly that thought appeared, or that one, or that one. Now where was it? Where did it come from? It wasn't there, and then suddenly it was. And then, where is it now? That thought that you just had, where did it go? It's not there. It might come back, but then it comes back from not being there, and now it's there, and now it's not. Now, if we open our eyes, and instead of focusing on our thoughts, just watch this, what's happening in this moment. You might be looking at the candle flame or the carpet or some color, flower, or sneezing, or listening to the sneeze, or notice that this moment, just like the thought, where did this moment come from? Because this one here is quite different from all the ones that preceded it. And now where is it? Where did this moment go? This moment. Where did this one go? And as you've undoubtedly wondered before, or noticed, that everything you have ever experienced, and anyone has ever experienced, only happens right now. Because everything that did happen isn't happening anymore. And there's no, all the past, everything that has happened in the past isn't happening now. Only this is happening. And whatever it is that's going to happen in the future hasn't happened yet. So that's non-existent in that sense. Not here. Just like the past, not here. And even our memory of the past, of the doing the coming home nirtan, or waking up this morning, or any memory we have, even the memory occurs only right now. It's not the thing that happened, it's the memory of it. So everything that ever has happened or will happen only happens right now. And if we look then at right now, but this now has already changed by the time I've said it to something else, to another now. Or is it another now? Or is it the same now with other news? And how long is this now? Or this one? What is the duration of now? Does it have any duration? Uh-oh. If the past isn't happening, and the future isn't happening, that is non-existent right now, and the only thing that exists, in quote marks, is now, and now doesn't have any perceivable duration, does now exist? It seems as if we're in this odd reality in which this eternal yet non-existent moment, this now, where everything happens, doesn't really, there's not enough time in the now for anything to exist, which includes you and me. Where do we exist here? As what? And yet here we are, somehow, whatever that means. Here we are. And right here, in this non-existent now, do we need anything? I mean, do we need anything to be here now? It's given. But whatever it is that's given, We don't need more money. We don't need a better car. Because what would we do with it? We don't need it now because here we are. Whatever it is that we need to be here, it's given. Whatever it is that's here is here. It's an odd paradox that we don't need anything to be here. We're actually completely complete. Look around in your presence. Is there anything you need to make you more complete right now? Whatever complete is, but this is certainly enough, whatever it is we have been given or are given. It's certainly enough because we are here now. It's a good insight to remember once in a while when you get feeling needy or when things aren't the way you want them to be. Just to come back to this place, wherever this place is, where here we are, here you are. And you don't have to, none of us have to do anything to be here. You don't have to work at it. You don't have to climb up a mystical mountain to get to the top of it, and now we're here. Here we are. Whatever that means. If we make any effort to further define what it is that is here now, we recognize that what is here now, besides this ever-changing array of phenomena, field of phenomena, is that we are aware. No, awareness is here. If we say, I am aware, maybe it's fair to say, I am awareness, because you can't find that which is aware. If you look, say, I am aware, it sounds like I'm something pre-existent that is now, like this little machine, turned on the awareness. But if you look around for I, as most of us have done innumerable times, can't find it. And we even can't find what this is that we're speaking of as aware awareness, and yet it's obvious, or it's, yeah. If you try to point out awareness, it's just like you can't find anything. And yet, it's obvious we are aware. Because everything that we experience, sound of my voice, and the color of the carpet, and the textures, and the candle, and the flowers, and your bodily feeling, all of it, only shows up by, let's say, by the grace of awareness. Could it be, is there anything that could, if there were no awareness, could anything exist? It might, but then there'd be nothing to know that it was existent. So, could it be that awareness is in could not be divided from phenomena? Could it be even that what we call matter and things that we perceive is inextricably connected, part of awareness somehow? It's not just a matter of I am aware of the tray, or awareness is aware of the tray, but that the tray, could it be that the tray has its being, it only can be because it arises in, from, as the display of awareness. Perhaps our bodies too, our head and our bones and skull and blood and hearts beating. Do they have their being only by the grace of awareness? And this awareness, what could we say about it? It certainly isn't just that I'm aware. Right now I'm not aware of all the stars in the sky, or actually all the cells in my body. And yet, just like the things that we perceive as real, perhaps the cells in my body and the stars and the cosmos can only appear, come into being, but ever-changing being, in the ground of awareness, or difficult to find the right preposition. From the ground of awareness? Is it sourced there? It's there, inextricable, untakeapartable. kind of magic, isn't it? I mean, magic. Lisanna is appearing out of nothing. Because even now, whatever it is that's appearing as Lisanna, wasn't that Lisanna a moment ago. It was different. It's a whole different, just like me and all of us. It's very odd. Do we really exist? Can we really be sure? And if we say, for sure I exist, this is here, it's still here, but it's not the way it was before, so it's wow. What is it that exists? What exists is ever blossoming, isn't it? It's like always novel, always new. And to have this sense that not all the sense of time, past and future and present, are what? It's almost as if they're suffused with and are totally part of a zero, or the no-thingness of the past, the no-thingness of the future, actually the no duration of the present moment. Wow. Are we just a dream that has no... In a way, yes, right? I mean, at least our minds go there, and there is we can't encompass it with our understanding, how it is that this is playing, it's displaying, portraying. It's as if we're, no thicker than the image on a movie screen. It's just that phantasmagorical, like a dream image. Does a dream image have any thickness? Oh, I haven't thought of that, but can you go around? How thick is it? Some of you who've been through the Open Path book, and of course, may have remembered some of this, one of the later chapters called A Joyous Cosmology. Happy coincidence. And it's really kind of a riff on these four, what they call the four samayas in Dzogchen, which is from this rather early Dzogchen texts. I don't know where it came from, ancient sutra, and so I kind of did a shortened form of playing on the four samayas. And the four samayas, samaya is a beautiful word. It means actually commitment. It means commitment, but it's you could also say an attribute of, what do they call it? The way of abiding, how things are, what Sufis would call al-haq, the real. How is it that this real happens? What we've just been trying to look at. And so there's the four commitments of the way it is. And we're committed in that. It's not just like, oh, that's interesting over there. It's actually, that's our nature, is these samayas, these commitments, these way of abiding, a way of happening. And there are different translations for each of these four. the ones I at this time used were absence, openness, spontaneity, and oneness. Absence, that's the word I used here, and after a while I had trouble trying to even talk about it, so I kind of went into just a kind of poetic riff. But absence is a powerful word because it means whatever this is, like we just looked, past, present, future, is absent. Because whatever we're even talking about is already absent. It's as if we're appearing out of nothing and vanishing immediately into nothing. And so there are different words. Absence you could use, nothing, nothingness, emptiness, the void. I'd like to read through this poetic part and replace the word this morning. See how this works. Replace the word absence with another one, which is similar, sort of, spaciousness. Each one has a little problem. Absence immediately makes you think like, okay, something's absent. All we're saying is the whole thing is absent in a way of any substantial here-ness. This, I go like this and say, well, this is here. It is. It's already different from what it was. So it's just a memory. I'm just interpreting that this is here. Problem with absence too, besides it implying that something else could be present if it only remembered to be present, is, or we can get it, take it out of the box, is, it's like emptiness. It's a little, cold, barren or something. But on the other hand, it's pretty rigorous too. I like that. Like absence or emptiness. This, the face the window that we go through, it's like the window of death when we die. You have to let it all go, right? You have all of this that we mourn for, having lost our children and our spouses and our bodies and our ambitions and work and the light of the morning. All of it that we love, we have to say goodbye to. And in fact, it's gone. Boop, gone. That's you have to fall through absence or emptiness. You have to go through. And even now, as we do our work of trying to wake up, that's just what's asked. It's the little death, the death before death. So that in that regard, these words have power. But let's swap it with spaciousness, which sounds a little more comfortable, I guess. Because that's another way to. It feels like there's a feeling there, but is there? We came close the other day to experiencing or pointing to the spaciousness of our heart. It's the very nature of spaciousness. Sure, it can feel, the heart can have these warm feelings of love or sentiment or fear or whatever. But it's before any of that, our heart experience is spacious. In any case, let's explore it a bit. So, what is the face of, here is all, whenever I say spaciousness, in this text it says absence. What is the face of spaciousness? Here, in my own face, that is like the sky, yours too, right? I mean, from your point of view, your face is purely spacious. You can't see it. You can see mine, but you can't see yours. It's very cool. I mean, spaced out, gone. Nothing on top of your shoulders. What is the face of spaciousness? Here in my own face that is like the sky, spacious and without center or edge. The face of spaciousness is without an opposite. The face of spaciousness is without an opposite. Looking for it, I find nothing. But how can I tell that nothing is nothing? Like the innocence of empty space, before the idea of empty space has formed, in this immediacy no story can take hold, and clear spaciousness is revealed. Spaciousness is without story. But even if a story does take hold, what could it hold to? It's like your thoughts we were looking at earlier, right? A thought arises and no sooner do you say, oh yeah, there's one. Where did it go? What could it hold to? Spaciousness. Story maker, who are you? Spaciousness. Spaciousness, show your face. Here, the spaciousness of spaciousness. Each moment, phenomena rise like partridges flushed from the grass. The traces of my memory the same. The beating of wings vanishing. Can I locate it? This awareness in which the birds rise up? And you, there, in whose awareness the birds also startle. Do we share the same sky? To see the face of spaciousness, we must be very quick. Accepting nothing and rejecting nothing. Little key, you can underline that one. Accepting nothing and rejecting nothing. Can we find that space where we reject or accept nothing, even for a few moments? That's a key. That's a doorway. What does this mean? It means there's no beginning to this seeing, and no middle, no story. Our language, an awkward convenience. The face of spaciousness is my own face I can never see. Not seeing it, that's it. All the windows open, no house, no outside. Spontaneously present, nevertheless. Spaciousness pervades everything like space does. Even this spaciousness that I'm using, this word, it's not like space that can be measured. Okay, we've got 1 meter of spaciousness here. That's space. And space is like spaciousness, but what I'm pointing to is sort of the spaciousness of space. That is, it doesn't even have dimension. If your mind can at least jump off that cliff. spaciousness has no dimension. You couldn't be there measuring it. Every idea of myself and of you vanishes the instant spaciousness appears, yet we walk together like two old friends. The face of spaciousness is the face of the tree, the sky, the bird. The face of spaciousness is the ocean billowing. The face of spaciousness is the wind vanishing. The face of spaciousness is your face, listening. The face of spaciousness is my face, listening. The face of spaciousness is lucid simplicity. The face of spaciousness can never be lost or found. Abandon deliberate acts. These are based on the story of time and improvement. Volition obscures the face of spaciousness. Will precludes attainment. Relax in spaciousness, the natural state free of intention. Deliberate acts. The abandon deliberate acts. What does that mean? It's where we went yesterday. The very notion that I can act and do something deliberately is a fiction that keeps me from recognizing the face of spaciousness or the presence of God. It's another word for spaciousness here. The pure absent presence. The presence of absence. Spacious. If I start thinking, as soon as I think that I'm doing something here, I'm subtracted from this happening. And think then that I'm sort of, I've got my own little drama and my story that I'm going to play out. It happens to all of us. It's not like it happens, I'd say 95% of my life, that's how it's led. And, very likely, if you can open up, if we can open up 5% of our living our days with this kind of no deliberate act, no self doing something, but just this being with the spontaneous becoming. That's great. That's 1% of your day. Start there. It's a good day when 1% of your day you're happening with the great melody of the cosmos, the great symphony, and you're happening all at once with it, and you're playing your part, so to speak. But it's playing you too. You have given over to it. Then that's a good day. It's a good symphony too. The conductor is happy. There's no conductor, but okay. That little analogy ran off, jumped in the pool. Okay. Yeah. The conductor is being conducted. No, what? There's no conductor. That's the way. That's what we. Yeah. Anyway, it says, abandon deliberate acts. These are based on the story of time and improvement. That's just our normal way of thinking in time. Oh, I'll do something now, and I'll pour my cup of tea, or I'm going to give a speech or something. I'll do it, or the idea that I feel that I'm not really enlightened today, but I'm gonna go to these programs and I'll get better and better and better until finally I'll have it. That's not probably going to be in 2016. There's not much time left. But next year for sure. 2017 sounds like a good one. I'll get. So all of this story, how story starts the moment time enters the picture, and we think of improving and how it goes and stuff. And it's okay, we can play with these stories and so on, but if we recognize them as story or as play, it's different. Then we're not. Our suffering, most of it, comes from believing our stories. We're stuck. I'm not a good person, or I'm troubled by, or whatever it is, that. That becomes the belief thing, and then we're just in this little spaghetti noodle, macaroni noodle. It's an echo chamber, We keep telling ourselves the way it is. Volition obscures the face of spaciousness. That is, when I think that I will this stuff, well, I've just said that. Will precludes attainment. That is, I as a separate doer, maker, one who wills. Relax in spaciousness, this natural state free of intention. And that's why the sense of intention is as soon as we station ourselves there, identify ourselves as the intender, there we are. We're separate. That's why at least in Dzogchen, it's very clear. They make it very clear again and again. The key to the whole show of awakening is non-intention, is non-action. That's what they call non-action or non-doing. Doing nothing. Doing nothing doing. And it can be a little confusing the way they describe that, because you think, well, that's the only way I'm just not going to do anything now. Yeah, stop even digesting. Said, that'll help. What kind of life is that? So it's not that action stops. I mean, non-action doesn't mean nothing happens. Not at all. Everything keeps happening. It's just you're no longer stationed in that place of thinking that I am the doer. That's all. That's what non-doing means. No doer.